planes flying around my head and fighting with the crows and writing it down and wanting to be a writer and being encouraged when I finally graduated from Miami University in Ohio by Walt, what the heck was his name? But he said, yeah, Ken, I think you got something going here. So I went to Stanford then a year to be in the writing program. But then when I was in Vietnam, I saw there was a great setting for a story, so I would write sketches down and send them home. And then when I came back, I put it into a novel, which was real raw. Then when Keys and I went in the bus to New York City, his agent and I sat down and talked, and he pointed out some work I should do on it. And so I took it, brought it back when we came back to California, and had it hanging around, and it disappeared. The manuscript, the only manuscript. And I don't know what happened to it, but then in the mail one time, years later, I got a package from one of my old squadron mates. He was a guy that I liked a lot, and he was following my progress writing, and so I had sent him a photocopy of the book. And he sent it to me, and so I had this photocopy. And so it was all typed up, you know.
On typewriter, yeah.
Typewriter, and so I lucked out in that a guy that worked up at Hewlett-Packard in Salem, I don't know how the word gets out about stuff like this, but he heard what I was trying to do, and he sent me a scanner, big old scanner with this software that that scans that and changes it into a Word document.
PDF kind of, or Word doc?
Word doc, yeah. It's OCR, optical something recognition. And so then I was able to scan all those pages into a Word doc and then go back and rewrite the book. And with my greater experience, well, this was 40 years after the book had first been written. So during those 40 years, I'd written a lot of stuff and worked for a lot of magazines and written a lot of other stuff, no big book or anything, but worked with Keys on a lot of written work. And then we did that series of small magazines called Spit in the Ocean. So I had a lot of, what would you say, under my belt, experience under my belt. And so I was able then to really work on that book and make it come out in a really good way. And I also had a real good editor at Overlook Press that was really close to me. The only thing we fought over was the main character is Tex-Mex. His grandmother's Mexican and his father and mother are Texans, and and they live on the border and cross back and forth a lot. So I had a lot of phrases that this guy would use in the book, Spanish slang kind of stuff, and then I'd say you know, verde, I say mucho Gonzale Gababa, and I'd say, and then I'd say, green is like a light that shines in your eyes at night, and I'd write that, and he would throw out the English translation. I'd say, I hate it when I read a book and authors put a foreign phrase in there and I don't know what the fuck they're saying or meaning, and
right.
Sometimes it's long poetry or something like that. I said, so I am not going to do that. He says, well, Ken, he says, you're going to have to either change it, or he says, or I'm not messing with this anymore. So I thought about it, and I said, okay. So he says, verde la chica bamba. And I say, or as my grandpa used to say, go screw yourself, you translators. And he said, oh, that works. So I was able to still get away with the Spanish and the English.
Are you still, are you, like, for instance, at Tsunami, have you had a chance to have a book signing here? Or like, how are you promoting it now? Because I noticed you putting...
Promoting what?
Who Shot the Water Buffalo.
On Facebook.
Yeah, I noticed you putting. I mean, people are buying that in it. I mean, it goes from it's like a small snowball, and it starts picking up momentum, and so it's rolling down that hill.
I know, and because they like it, and it gets everybody that reads it that writes.
Tell me,
back.
Can you give us some feedback of what it's about? Because I am struggling. I just all I see is you in that book, and now you tell me it's not. And then when you just
that's funny.
Well, so, like when you were, for instance. When you were, you're intestate, or there was a scene where some dude was just couldn't keep anything inside, and the colonel gave him opium, to seal him up. And I'm thinking to myself,
that wasn't the colonel, that was the doctor.
But see, what you're telling me is that probably went down, but it never did go down in your life. That was not you. That was
It wasn't me. Hey, John.
Hey, kid.
John. How are you?
This is John Vargas, famous photographer.
John, it's a pleasure to
one of
meet
the
you, man. This is
greatest
you're on the Jake Feinberg
photographers.
show.
This is Jake Feinberg.
Hey, Jay.
How do you tell me a memory of Ken Babbs when you first met Ken Babbs?
Was that time we were drunk down by the river and you fell?
Don't help him out.
That's right. It was such a shock. It took about 45 years for me to remember it.
That's it. That's
Yeah.
it. That cold water.
Yeah.
Can you shed some light on the genius of Ken Babbs?
Got your flashlight? Hit me over the head with your cane. That might wake me up.
Let him talk for himself.
Why don't you let me do the interview? Here, give me that thing.
I think
I'll
I'll go
interview you.
inside here. I should go inside.
Well, there's
Do
nothing
whatever you
happening
want,
yet.
John, it's free country. I don't care.
Is it Carter having a poetry reading?
Somebody's in there doing something.
I think so. You know Carter, don't you? Carter McKenzie?
Oh, I know who it is.
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott's in there getting everything ready.
Yeah.
All right, interview me for a minute.
It's nice to see you in front of the flowers.
Yeah, that's a good spot.
Turn it around so you can see me.
Anyway, nice
Okay.
meeting you.
Turn it around.
Oh, so I'm interviewing myself.
No, you.
Oh, there they are. Hi, ladies and gentlemen. There's Jake himself. You never get to see him, and he never gets to be interviewed. So I want to ask him a few questions. Is like,
I just want to say one thing before. Simon pulled out a camera the other day and got a ton of Jake Feinberg footage, and he's putting it together on the iMovie. So I will be exposed.
oh, good. Well, you need to be exposed. Would you please take off those ugly shorts?
Yeah. All right. So let's get down. Talk to me. I mean, I'm always turning the tables on you. So you go ahead with me.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead with you. How did you like the NBA finals?
I cannot, as much as I try to shoot like Steph Curry, my shot never goes in, and he makes it look so darn easy. I mean, it just floats in. All those cats do it. I feel bad because I love LeBron. I totally appreciate his warrior mentality, the motherland mentality, but it didn't do it for me.
Well, the poor guy, he's one guy amongst not as many good guys, where the Warriors are a full team. And I hope you noticed that our Oregon graduate on the team, Jordan Bell, has been playing more and more and doing really well.
Jordan Bell
because
was a spark
Bell
plug,
rhymes
man.
with well. He was so good, huh? So you noticed that. Okay, well, I don't have any more questions for Jake.
How about one more?
One more question? Jake, where did you go to high school?
I went to Ward Melville High School.
Where's
Ward
that?
Melville in Stony Brook, Long Island.
And now you're out in the southwest. Well,
I'm
that's
out in
quite a
Tucson.
jump.
There was no rhyme or reason for me to go there. I went to get a master's as a teacher of the visually impaired. I wound up meeting my wife out there. I heard that cat in there talking about the wandering Tao. I think that's what he said, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, that's me. I mean, I received the Tao, and I'm on a sacred journey, and it started in the Southwest in Tucson.
Oh, well, good for you.
You know.
Good for you. And
so,
have you found your enlightenment?
every day.
Every
And
day,
a lot of
that's it.
And a lot of it comes from cats like yourself, Babbs. So I appreciate you sitting down, because I know you didn't want to do this today.
Let the light shine, let it shine on you.
Can you sing that tune? Wait, before we go, can you sing that tune you sang in the grocery store?
Yeah.
What's that tune in the grocery store you sang?
Well, we were talking about wine, and I said I love wine, and every time someone mentions wine, I have to sing, "My baby, she's a wino, wino. She gets good loving and she says goodbye. Treats me badly, I don't know why. Ooh, I'm down by the river now, catching all the fishes now. Ooh."
That was gorgeous.
I sing that all the time.
Do you?
Yeah, you're not kidding. Isn't that a good song?
I love it.
I didn't write it either. It's by some group.
When's the next, I mean, you always had that classic line, I hated every bone in her body except mine, but when is the next time you're going to be breaking out the trombone?
I've been playing a lot. Yeah, I gave it up for a month or so. I went with the slide whistle and the harmonica, but now I'm back on the trombone again. Yeah, I'm playing it every day. I got a new thing I try to do, which I try to tell a story, and I'm holding my trombone, and I'll make a line like, I never knew why she hit me in the face with that wet mop. Yes. And then record it like you're doing, and then I can put it on Facebook, see? And at the end, I always have an ad for my book that I'm selling.
Well, I'm curious, because I'm going to be back up in August for Catherine Wilson's Animal House Jamboree down at Kepler's. Do you go to Kepler's at all?
Kepler's.
I think that's the name of the I could be
Is
botching.
that in San Francisco?
I think it's
Where's Kepler's bookstore? I've heard it. Oh, I know where it is. It's Palo Alto. Well, of course.
it's the wrong name of the store. I totally botched it. But my point is, when is your next gig where you can transcend with other cats like Mel C? I'm not saying Terrapin Flyer, but do you have a gig on the calendar? You have anything coming up?
No, I'm turning down everything to finish this book I'm writing.
The phone's ringing off the hook.
Including these stupid interviews.
These are not. This is for my daughters and future generations understanding how the creative process works. You were in academia, but let's face it. That Who Shot the Water Buffalo is an act of genius. And you said to me, verisimilitude, you said, you should try it. And you're right, because I'm on the precipice. I have all this content, 3,500 primary source interviews with Brubeck, Babbs, Cosby. The list goes on and on and on. And I say to myself, I started this thing because this country was going to hell in a handbasket 6-7 years ago. I did it based on sociology.
Oh, you mean the reason it's gone even worse is because of these damned interviews?
Well, you can, if that's how you want to slant it.
Well, that's the beauty of art. You can slant it any way you want.
But I feel like I want to go back and read it over and over again because you did nail it, man. And maybe you compromised a little bit with your editor, but it's a work of gold, man.
Oh, no, I didn't compromise.
Well, apparently you did, because he said, I don't want anything to do with it anymore.
Who's your editor?
Oh, that's some guy there. Well, I was exaggerating.
Okay, yeah.
But he didn't want me doing it the way I did it, so we worked it out. So I was glad because he was really good. He really helped a lot on the book, making it as strong as it was. Some guy at the publishing house. I don't remember his name.
Chuck.
Do you? I mean, without him interjecting, did you hang with the Pranksters at all, or how did you meet Ken?
It was just through a natural process of being a member in the community, not too many doors down.
That's exactly right. Plus, he's a Pleasant Hill Billy. He went to Pleasant Hill High School all his life. His house that he lived in is at the bottom of Dexter Lake now, swallowed by the dam and the water.
Yeah, I still have dreams about that. I have not really nightmares, but interesting dreams.
I can imagine you're lying in bed and you hear this noise. You're looking and the water's coming up to your bed. And you're thinking,
it's hard to remember dreams, though.
Yeah, well, certain dreams happen because there's so much trauma in some of them.
Yes. That's what dreams are all about.
Yeah.
I know. I love them. I love the trauma.
Do you? I mean, he is. I've done 5 radio interviews with him. I was at the Dexter Lake Club with him last year. But I'm being a local and being out in that sort of magical paradise out there. Even though your house, I don't know if it got swallowed up or not. But can you talk about the Babbsian qualities that inspire you?
Talk about my brother if you want to talk about the Babbsian qualities.
Let him talk about what he wants to talk. This is a free country.
Yeah, you told me you were interviewing me.
All of a sudden you're jealous about not getting the spotlight? You said
No, I'm continuing the interview.
I'm getting testimony from... These are storyboards.
And I'm doing it.
Okay.
That's right.
That's right. But he and my brother were good best friends.
Yeah, we were really good friends.
Now, younger brother or older brother?
My brother was a year younger than me.
A year, eh?
Yeah, 1 year and a week.
I was thinking you're a little further apart in age. But
No.
Yeah, John was a real kick. Really got a great sense of humor and a smart guy, too.
Was he as prodigious a procreator as Ken is? Ken got voted the most aptitude to sow seed.
No, most likely.
Most likely.
In my high school graduating
Did John sow seed as prolifically as Ken?
I really don't know how to compare the two.
What is it?
So is your brother? I'm sorry. Is he still with us? Is your brother?
No, he died of cancer.
No, rest in peace.
2012.
He was a good. You had good relationship with him.
Oh God, yes. And the beautiful thing was that he lived in Glenwood, which is this little funky community between Eugene and Springfield, so we got to see each other all the time.
He loved the landscape of Oregon.
Oh, he sure did.
How could you not? I mean, it's just every time I'm here, I'm marinating in this sort of wonderland. But you know, Babbs, before I let you go, I was up in Scappoose with Walker, you know, and he was talking about this modern. In fact, what he said was that Kesey was talking about it back in the '60s about this serfdom, this idea of just this modern day slavery. And at the time, George said, I didn't know what he was talking about. I didn't even understand it. I didn't believe him. And today, he said, it is happening right before our eyes. And what he's talking about is upward mobility, just the crushing cost of living, and the fact that people really there's no way to truly gain any kind of traction unless you're going to be part of the corporate paradigm, the corporate fascism that we live in. So,
well, there's nothing wrong with it as long as you can afford it. But the problem is, people go into debt with all this stuff, and then something happens and they can't keep it together. It's gone. So then this becomes a challenge. This is the beautiful thing about it. What do we do now? It's like the dad loses his job and he realizes all is lost. He comes home, he slams the door up and he says, "Get your gear, kids, we're going camping."
I love it.
I mean, you got to have that kind of attitude. And that kind of attitude, see, is something that people have to learn and pick up on and know about, instead of the other attitude of always climbing the corporate ladder for success, always buying this and that for success. Their ideas of success, you know, are about money and status and power and all that shit, not realizing there's another way, see? So how do we open the eyes to the whole, all the people to know this? I'll tell you how we open them. We let in all those people across the border, immigrants and everybody, because they know how to live and they will work hard and do the right jobs and everything and show us.
Well, a lot of people say that, you know, Anglos are just really envious of Latinos because they truly just enjoy life. I mean,
yes.
but here's the thing: the greed factor is at an all-time high. To me, Trump is a symptom of, you know, he is this sort of bludgeon hammer that has come about. But you now, this is sort of a dual question, but you guys went in and diffused situations with Dentine gum with Vietnam protesters versus the hardcore patriots. How would you deal with this? Because what I feel is when Bezos is getting $40 million a year, nobody blinks an eye. That's the normalization. It's not normalizing Trump. He's just he's a carnival barker.
Yeah, but get this.
Yeah.
Who gives a shit? What's it got to do with us? What's it got to do with us right now sitting here?
The greed is going to take us down. It's going to take a lot.
It's not taking me down, I'll tell you. How can it? That's bullshit. The only thing that'll take it down is if they get so greedy they destroy the planet and we all go down.
Yeah, well, that's what's happening.
Well, it's not going to happen totally. It can't. How can it? I mean, one good earthquake, one good tsunami, one good hurricane.
A couple of really good atomic bombs.
Fuck that.
We don't want that.
Well, no, but
that's man-made. I'm talking about the Earth itself.
The
Earth itself is pissed off.
Like the big earthquake that's supposed to hit Oregon is an example of that.
Well, it'll happen eventually. I mean, the Earth is pissed off. And if you don't believe the Earth is a living thing, well, then how do you account for all
Give
this
me
stuff?
a break. Grandmother Earth is being torched, and pretty soon you're going to have a sinkhole off Fort Lauderdale, and the whole thing's going to fall in. And only then are we going to ever take climate change seriously at that point.
Maybe.
Okay.
It'll be like, well, they're in Florida. Let's see if we can go move up to Colorado.
That's a pretty big cloud up there.
Yeah, it's going to drop some rain on us.
It's a cumulonimbus cloud, maybe?
It almost looks like pure fog.
Last question.
But what the point is don't get involved in all that shit. Unless you've got some way of cooling a situation that's getting violent about it, or you've got some way of injecting some kind of sensible way of things, and it's to people that are looking for the answer. You know, unless there's some kind of fertile ground that you can plant your seeds in. Otherwise, you're just wasting your brain power, you're wasting your energy on something that you just cannot do anything about.
No, I guess what I'm trying to say, you're right. What I'm trying to have you talk to is regular peeps, how they can affect change in their world, how you do it every day. You met me at Capella's. I'm saying you affect positive change in your world every day. Some cats try to bite off the macro thing. It's more than they can chew. How can they stay centered and inspire people in their world, change their world?
It's all up here in the head. It's recognizing what your head wants and being able to judge it and say, wait a minute, that's a bad thing. I don't want that in my head. Go away. And you let in some kind of positive thing like, you know, the Clarence's down the street there, they've been needing some help. The dad's hurt bad and the mom's strung out with the kids and everything. I think I'll go down and mow their lawn for them. You know, shit like that. That's what you do. You replace the negative shit in your head with good shit. You know, and the good shit fills your head and you're happy and you're doing good stuff and you put up with all the crap that's going on and you even put up with bad things happening to you. I mean, the real ultimate saint is the guy that gets crushed by the machine, ends up in a nut house or a prison or something, and is happy as a lark. This is my place now. Oh boy. I mean, you would think of him as an idiot, but he's still working. He's writing stuff on the wall, and he's composing a whole novel in his head that he can recite verbally from somebody.
Are you going to do that with your novel?
Have it all in my head and recite it. Have it memorized. Yeah, it's only up to 600 pages now. That's good.
When was the last time Mount Pisgah? Am I pronouncing that?
Pisgah.
What's it called?
Mount Pisgah.
It's spelled P-I-S-G-A-H, but it's pronounced Pisgah.
He went up there for a family picnic, and this ball of who knows what it was.
It was a lightning strike.
And it just exploded in front of him and sent him down to the ground, knocked him off his
It
feet.
was the thunder that knocked me off my feet.
That was you?
Yeah.
And he went right home.
Yeah.
He went right home and emailed Kesey because that was a direct shot. It was a shot across the bow.
Wow.
And I wanted to ask you, can you talk?
In what way was it a shot across the bow?
That's the wrong way to say it. I'm saying it was a wake. It was just sort of it was a cosmic way of still communicating with your brother.
No, where did you come up with that?
Not your real brother. I'm saying Kesey. You the one that told me this.
Where did you get up with that?
You said you went home and emailed Kesey right away after
I
that.
wanted to tell him about it.
So what's recently something that you wanted to tell him about?
Because it was such a wonderful thing. I mean, God, it was beautiful. It was magnificent. I'd never been knocked out by such a natural thing in my whole life.
Was it lightning or was it
I'm telling you, man, we were
meteor?
in this storm. We were coming down, and this lightning hit like, it was closer than that tree there. And the way it hit, you'd think of lightning, you always seeing this things like that. It's not. It's a big ball of exploding orange something.
Right.
Followed immediately by thunder so loud it knocks you off the feet.
I'll tell you something. I was up there on early evening, around 7:30 in about 20 years ago, and this was during the meteor shower.
Hey, Scott, come back here.
Come on.
All right.
Get in here.
Less than 30 seconds.
Okay.
Just
During
scoot
the
there.
Perseid meteor shower,
Yeah.
and all of a sudden, these meteors are starting to come in through the atmosphere, and all of a sudden there was one came in real low, about 100 feet above our heads, and it went psst.
And he said, "What's that again? Speak up."
Yeah, this was early meteor shower for the Perseid. For some reason, it occurred around sunset.
Uh-huh.
And we were sitting there on the grass, and all of a sudden, this thing came in. And,
Beautiful.
Yeah, kind of almost not like your experience, but
Yeah, it's like that.
but in the same location.
Yeah, it's
almost.
coming from somewhere else, coming down into us. So
No,
I'd
I
like
want-
to introduce here
yeah.
Scott Landfield, who owns the, well, he doesn't own it, but he
It's an
leases
honor,
the
Scott.
bookstore. Been running this place for years, a marvelous place for performances and books, and a real kind of center in this area, this hub of intellectual Eugene, which we call South.
Scott, are you a Eugene native through and through?
No, 1978.
Okay, so you got up here. Did you get to go to some of those poetic hoo-has that Kesey used to throw with Rossan?
Missed
I
it.
remember hearing about him.
Yes,
Yeah, I
60s,
came through.
76. and
76, when he's holding
I
that
was
note.
here when some people went up there in 76.
Before I let you go, because we've reached halftime here, amazing. We've already been cooking for 30 minutes here, but I want you to talk about why you love Ken Babbs.
Oh, fuck that.
No!
Well,
He
it was
doesn't
that-
love me.
it was
He
that
get
one night
along
alone.
okay.
It
That's
was-
come on, what's the matter with you? Gee, when he
He's been
Oh,
he's
jeez, oh,
Yeah, there are no
there
secrets
are.
about
I
amongst
guess
real
not.
men.
listen, he's
I
been
know, John. Next thing he's going to exposing us.
Yeah,
Scott, he's been cultivating his sound on the trombone at
We don't
Tsunami.
love each other.
He has.
Well, I know it's got to be with lust.
You
though.
know,
How integral is he to the Tsunami vibe?
None.
Stop.
I would say no. I would say he's been essential to me wanting to be here.
Explain why.
Oh, come on.
Because for one, he's a great example of an older brother who's still got got what he's got inside, and it's real alive. I
And
mean,
you can't shut him up.
well,
He's
that-
being sincere.
that
I
might
dig
have
it,
been the
man.
old-
Why am I here
I
right
don't know.
now?
That
I
was
don't
before
know.
I met him,
Go-
but
go Walt
he's a very
can't stop.
wise man who has answers to daily situations.
Could you give an example?
Yeah, I had an 85-year-old guy, head of Russian studies over at the U of O, who had Alzheimer's, and he came over here one day, and the girls tried to throw him out, and he wouldn't leave, and he went crazy, and he started going violent, and he was an old man. I touched him, and I realized, oh my God, this old man has something, and I immediately took my hand off of him, and I'm like, what the heck am I going to do next? And here outside comes walking out the door Ken Babbs, who's got a cell phone in his hand.
Right.
Ken was a young 72 at that
Strapping.
point. Yeah, and the other guy was like 85. And Ken is like, hey, buddy, you know, I just called 911 and they're going to be here in about 1 minute. And if I were you, I'd get on the horse and go for a ride. And the guy went crazy, and he backed up into our sign and drove over a curb and all of this. And then Ken comes up to me, and a minute later he said, you know, I wish I knew how to dial 911. Which is- You remember that?
I know. Modern technology is beyond me.
What is it? But, you know, I'll tell you, at 40 years old, when I see him, there's an immediate calming effect. I have no anxiety. What is it about the calming effect of Babbs that affects you and allows Tsunami to thrive?
My baby, she's a wino,
I think-
gets good loving.
I think that Eileen would have the answer for that.
That's it. Yeah, she keeps my edges honed down to a nice, smooth ride.
Further, Ken Babbs,
Okay,
love always.
Well, adios, everybody. It's nice to talk to you again. And this will be the last time you won't
Yeah,
see
Yeah,
me
you
on
say that every
Jake
time.
Feinberg show
Pretend I
again.
can't do it.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you in a little bit.